this is how the automotive industry has changed through history. So when we start, we find in the 1900s, the Model T. It was built in 1902, and was the first car ever manufactured. Now, this new Lamborghini Urus. Yeah, we see that it's a 112-year difference between the two cars. We've made a lot of technological improvements between them. So we're gonna start with the past. With the Model T. The Model T was the very first car ever manufactured on an assembly line. It was made by the founder of Ford Motors, Henry Ford, and was first built in his garage shop. Then we're going to skip to the 1950s. This was a time period that consisted of a lot of classic cars and muscle cars that people wanted to use for cruising and racing. And just a lot of things. They're just fun cars. And we move to the late 70s, which is known for its cruisers and travel vans. We see a lot of things in like media of hippies with their Volkswagen vans and people with their older Mustangs or Challengers. They just were good for a drive. And that's what this time period mainly consisted of. Now we are going to move on to the present, or more of the early 2000s, when we first started making more technological advances like Bluetooth and more advanced radios and GPS systems. Then you have the 2010s, which is where we find a lot of screens put into cars, touch screens, and just more compatibility with the Bluetooth settings. And it's more tuned to the enjoyment of your car than it used to be when it was just for use, just to help you get around and to haul things. Now we find them, making them so you can enjoy what you're doing with them. Then we have this year. We see a lot more innovative vehicles such as hypercars and electric cars. The hypercar is a step up from like the Lamborghini or Bugatti, where those can go fast, but these hypercars use clean energy and can go extremely fast, which gives them the name. We'll also have more advancements in the electric car, where industries such as Tesla and just most car manufacturers in the first place have started making more electric cars. Now we're moving on to the future. These are more questions on, will we see more fully renewable energy running on cars? Will we see more ethanol fueled cars, or will we see more electric cars? Or just like how we get our power to our cars? Will we make it cleaner? Will we reduce our carbon footprint to them? And just if we'll overall start making cars that are healthier for our environment. Then we have the question of flying cars. We've seen flying cars, as a concept come up through history and seen in different movies, thinking that by now we should have them. But in all reality, it would take up to 20 or 30 years longer for us to have flying cars that are reliable and safe for human use. Just that it's a different science that has to be put into it for our flying cars and our road cars, because it's two different places that they'll be traveling. And then we have fully automated self-driving cars. We already see a few, such as the Teslas, that can drive themselves, but we don't have fully automated self-driving cars that you won't have to touch or anything to get where you're going. We are seeing great leaps towards technology that is going to where we'll have self-driving cars in the next 5 or 10 years, but we just don't have cars that are ready to go by themselves all the time right now at the moment. And this whole presentation has been centered on how far we've come from our past in our innovations that we've made to our vehicles. We've made so much improvement from the Model T to now that we should just be proud of ourselves as a society. Thank you very much.